Okay, so welcome to this 1 hour workshop, and it's around having that inner balance through the chakra system. And some of you may have heard what the chakras are, and we will be going into that as we go through. But what I wanted to be doing is starting off this year where we are aligning our energy, that we are able to be moving forward, because this is a 9 year and it is about transformations and it's about endings of old patterns that no longer serve. So I thought this program, when I got the information, was like so brilliant and perfect for sharing to everybody. So what we're going to be doing is going bit by bit through the different parts that are going on. And what we're going to be covering through for you today are: what are the chakras, the energy centers, why balancing them matters, because we might think, well, what's the point? Why? Life happens. I'm going to give you a key affirmation for each chakra. There are more out there, but this is about giving you some tools that you can use that will help you now. And that's what's important. And some practical tips and tools for alignment, which we will be doing within this workshop. So the chakra system, there are some people that believe in it, there are some people that don't, but they've been around. First recorded is 1500 BC. So, 3,500 years they've been around. You will hear them as chakras, or Sanskrit, wheels of energy. But where they are situated in the body is where there are major nerve plexuses. There's a lot of biochemical information. There's veins and there's arteries. So there's a lot. So sometimes I always like to use the word energy centers, because to me, they are centers in our body where there is a lot of activity going on. And what happens is they govern our emotional, our physical, and our spiritual well-being. So this is another reason why I felt this would be such a good tool to be bringing in to help us all. Now, in what we're going to be doing, there are 7 primary chakras, but there are many, many other wheels, chakras of energy in our system, but we will be looking at the primary ones. Now, some of you may be aware of them, some of you won't. We'll be going through them bit by bit, but they're basically starting at the root, so at the base of the spine. Then there's the sacral below the navel, the solar plexus above the navel, the heart on the chest, the throat, the brow, and the crown. And we're going to be going through each of those individually. And when these wheels of energy, when these centers are balanced, our energy flows freely. It brings harmony, it brings alignment in. So for me, they're very important in us being able to face the day, know what it is that we need to be doing for that point. So this is a picture that you can see where I've taken that from Bexy, I think it's called, and that shows you a little bit about the chakras and the colors that are often associated with the chakras. Now, again, people are saying these colors are shifting and they are changing, and they possibly are. Everything's changing, everything is shifting. We're always developing, we're always changing, transforming, moving forth. That's the nature of being human. But I thought it was quite good sometimes to just see that visual representation of where those centers are in us. So I've been mentioning about how they're important. So for me, and not just me, you can find many, many people that know about the energy centers. They say that alignment of the chakras matter because it brings focus, it brings that clarity, that emotional resilience. Because when the chakras are in alignment, it's almost like our energy is centered. We've like got our feet on the ground. We're like, yes, I'm present, I can understand, I can hear, I can be. And it's that sense of connection and purpose. An imbalanced chakra, basically, we can feel foggy headed, confused, exhausted, absolutely exhausted. We can have lots of emotional challenges and that sense of being stuck in life. And you can often, there used to be, and I'm sure there still is, something that's called the Korean photography, where you'd sit in front of this special camera and it would take a picture of your auric field. And your auric field would give a lot of information about what's going on in your physical body, because what happens in our auric field affects our internal body. Once we get sick here in this physical, we've already been poorly energetically for a long time. So we look only when we're physically feeling something, when our head is confused, when our heart is aching, when our stomach is churning. That's when we start to address things. But actually, it's been building up for a long time externally. And so this, again, another reason why I wanted to just bring some tools in. So next, I'm hoping that you have either a bottle of water, it can be a full bottle, or a glass of water for this next piece. If you haven't, please go and get one, because in about a minute, we're going to be programming that water. So there's a gentleman called Peter Schenk, and I've been using his Aquaware program since about 2012. So a number of years, and I love it. And first thing I do when I put my phone or my computer on in the morning, I've got my cup of tea, and I actually put my intention on that drink and run the program for what it is that I'm feeling I need that day. And then as I'm sipping that drink, it's like bringing that energetic balance into my being. He's an amazing guy, the guy that's developed this. And he's given me permission to actually use this work in what it is that I do. So when I go to do this, the programs are only about 20-25 seconds, so it doesn't take long. And once you've got the replay, you can just fast forward to that piece of the slide and just have your drink. And what I would suggest doing is that you've got your drink and you either put your hand around it or over it and you press play. And what happens then is your intention, because your hand is on the drink, the intention of what you are seeing goes into the drink. It's that simple. Doesn't have to be difficult, does it? Because remember, we're energy beings. It doesn't need to be a very complicated story. So I'm hoping that you've got your drink or your bottle of water. As soon as we go on to this next slide, please make sure. So I'm just bringing my water down in front of me. But just make sure that you have got your hand or your eyes on your drink as I do this next piece. And as you focus on the drink, you will start to notice on the screen that there is a program that is running. And this is the Aquaware sync. And this is going to be going in to your drink. And it's around cleansing and clearing the auric field and bringing the 7 major chakras into alignment. And I thought that would be like a really good one for us to start with. And ideally, you just have 1 glass of this in a day. Don't do what I used to do. And I go glug, glug, glug. I'd program every drink I could find. So I'd be like drinking 2 liters of program water a day. And I'd detox. Definitely not. So 1 glass of this in a day is more than fine. And you can just sip that water, drink that water in whatever way it is that supports you, that you feel is good for you. Now, whilst that's, you can use that as many times as you want, whenever you want, as I say, when you've got that replay. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to start to go through the chakras. And as we go through them, just be aware. And everyone, whether you are live or you're listening in on the replay, what we're going to have is like this big cosmic recycling container in each of your individual fields. And don't worry about if you've not signed up till the end, because energy and time are completely separate from each other. And in this work, I've been doing this type of work for so many years, and I know that it works. So as I'm talking about the different chakras, anything that starts to come up to your surface, we are going to allow it to go into the cosmic container so that that energy can be transformed and released. And some people are already, from what they've read on the screen, their body's going, oh, yeah. And, you know, and it is like that, isn't it? And that's why if we hear something, we see something, we smell something, our body can start reacting. And a lot of things can get caught up in the chakra system. So the root chakra, it's at the base of the spine. And this is all about stability. It's about feeling safe. So it's also very much, for me, it is really, really linked into how connected I feel to the earth. I can have a tendency, you'd never guess, would you, to be very much up in, you know, creative mode, up sort of like working out what I'm going to do and meditating and things like that, which are amazing, but they can stop me from being grounded. So I have to put quite a bit of work at times into my root chakra. Now, you might be the opposite. You might be like really, really grounded and find it very hard to sort of like get some information coming down from your higher self. That's what's great about this. This is just about the information for whatever it is you need. So one of the things that you can do with us is you can visualize roots coming, and you can do it from the root chakra, or you can do it from your feet going down into the center of the earth. And as you're rooted, that gives your body and your energy field the information that you are connecting in with the earth. That in itself can start to bring energy into the root chakra. Now, the color that's often associated with this is red, and being in nature, so being grounded, walking barefoot on the ground, if you're into that, can be very good. The grounding mats that you hear of, they can also be helpful, not just for the root chakra, but for the whole of your energy system. But just think for a moment, if there is anywhere in life, maybe not now, but maybe in the past, where you have fear or insecurity, I have to say, I think that's around a lot. I think it's around an awful lot with the news and with the media. And even if you don't watch the news and the media, it doesn't seem to really matter, because we hear it, we feel it energetically. And so an affirmation that can be really, really good for this is that I am safe, supported, and connected to the earth. Now, one of the other things that I often do with affirmations, because they can be quite hard if you're not feeling that way inclined. So I will often do what's called an affirmation, where I stick the word why. So it's like, why am I safe, supported, and connected to the earth? Why am I safe and supported and connected to the earth? Why am I safe, connected, and supported by the earth? And the reason that I do that is that when you put the question why in, the subconscious then goes looking around for all the reasons why this is true, and starts to bring in that you are safe, supported, and connected to the earth. So that's just a little tool that I use, and some of you will have heard me talking about it, maybe if your body's asked for a little bit of homework. So the affirmations can be really, really good, or affirmation. It's whatever works for you and what it is that feels right for you. And the time I would be looking at that is like, if you are feeling disconnected, if you are feeling fearful, if you feel like you're all floaty, and we can have that feeling at times, difficulty in focusing. Now, as we move on to the sacral chakra, this is all about creativity and flow. And this is just below the navel. So it's halfway between the belly button and the pubic bone. And it's about creativity, it's about pleasure. I've also found as a chiropractor that it can very much be linked into our stability. So when this chakra is out of balance, we can have lower back pain or even issues with our legs, and the legs also with the root chakra. So if you're having any of those, use the programmed water to try it every day for a week or two. Sometimes the results can be amazing and very quick, and sometimes it can take a little bit of time, because remember, the energy's got to go from the physical out to the energetic, and the energetic into the physical. So symptoms of imbalance, as I said, can be that lower back pain. That's on a physical level, but it can be a lack of creativity, motivation. It can be where we've suppressed our emotions, and you might think, well, why would they be so far down? But it often is right down in that sacral chakra. We can have that guilt and a sense of shame, so they can be linked into that area too. And also another sign that this chakra is not functioning as well as it could be is when we aren't really enjoying life. And I can put my hand up to say, yeah, I'm a bit like that at times. I mean, I might come across bubbly, but I'm still human. And there are days and moments. And that's usually my body sign. I usually go, oh, okay, what's going on? Just quickly scan, see where my body just brings my attention to. If it's related to one of the energy centers, then I will often just get my water and program it for that specific chakra. Obviously, you don't have access to that, but that other water program, perfect for it. So some of the things that you can do to help with this is to visualize the color orange coming in. So as you're breathing in, you breathe that color orange right down to that sacral chakra. And if you do that for about a minute each time, again, that can help to bring in balance. So it doesn't have to be something that you're going out there doing. It can be something where you just close your eyes, focus on your breath, breathing in the color orange, sending it down to that area, and doing that for about a minute. Also, creative activities like painting or dancing. So one of the things I enjoy doing, and I know some of you know this about me, is in the morning, while I'm waiting for my cup of tea, I put a piece of music on and I just dance in the kitchen. Only takes as long as the kettle takes to boil, but it's good. For me, it's good. It gets my energy flowing, it makes me feel creative, gets the blood pumping as well around the body. But if you've all got a picture of me doing that at 4:30 in the morning, haven't you? But yeah, I do. I obviously don't do it loud enough to wake anyone else up, but that's why earbuds are brilliant. So you can do those. And then you've got the affirmation that's linked into this of I am creative, radiant, and in flow with life. And what you can do is you can get like little post-it notes, and you can just pop these down and you can just stick them in different places. And so I've got mine all along my computer at the top. So that's sometimes you might see me looking that way. And it's like one of the ones I've got down right now is how can I practice being in my power right now? So every time I look up, I see that. So you can do that with the affirmation, or make it into the affirmation of why am I creative, radiant, and in flow with life? And again, it brings in a different part of the subconscious. And for me, it's all well and good you having sessions with people, and myself included, But what I find is really important is that we have the tools ourselves. We have things that we can use that helps us feel that we are in power, in our own power, because the true healing actually comes from within you. It doesn't come from whoever the practitioner is. It comes from within you. So it is all, that's why it's important to work with somebody that you gel with, because literally it is about your feeling safe enough for that practitioner to be able to help you to become more in alignment with yourself. Okay, so we're going to move now on to the solar plexus chakra. Now, many people know where this one is because you have the butterflies in the tummy. And I think we've all had the butterflies in the tummy at some point, whether it was at school, sitting in the exams, or being picked last for rounders, which was always the thing that seemed to occur to me. And, you know, I mean, I shouldn't say the word always, but it did happen. So I realized I just wasn't very good at sport. I've just found the things that I enjoyed later. So the solar plexus, it's between the belly button and the end of the rib cage, right in that part. So it is where you feel those butterflies. And it's like our power center. And it's a lot of times where people will have that reaction. And they'll feel, oh, hit me just right there. And it can very much be linked in to our nervous system. So it is important that we're keeping that space more balanced. And when it's not feeling great, we can have that lower self-esteem, that lack of motivation. And I mean, as I said, I know I was joking about the rounders, but I tell you, by the time you get to the end every time, I felt like I've got smaller and smaller. So as an adult, I now realize that my chakra system, my energy system was getting smaller and smaller because I just felt like I wasn't being seen. I wasn't being noted. I was being picked last. Yeah, I had to do quite a bit of work on that. And obviously there's still a bit of charge there because I can feel it coming through. So I'll be able to clear some of that through using this. So the other thing with the solar plexus is we can have difficulty making decisions. We can be really indecisive. We just don't know what to do. And it's because our power, our energy center isn't aligned. So it's really hard for us to be able to make that choice from that place of strength. So this color is yellow. So it's often associated with the sun and like that happy thing. But again, you can have that breathing in, that color yellow. And you can choose whatever color of the yellow spectrum that you want. You might want to choose a different color entirely. There's nothing that's set in stone. We're individuals. This is just some guidelines to help you. And the affirmation that is linked in with this is I am confident, powerful, and in control of my destiny. I don't know why I'm laughing, but that one just seems like, doesn't it? So I am confident, powerful, and in control of my destiny. Now, I've just had this picture that's come to mind of us all being children and us being like really confident and really in our power. And then an adult going, shh, shh, I'm trying to concentrate. I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to read. Will you be quiet? And what happens is our system just going smaller and smaller. So anywhere where that has come up for you or your ancestors, we're going to let that go in to that cosmic container. And if you can, just have a sip of your drink. Because we want to ensure that you stay as balanced as possible whilst allowing all of these imbalances to start shifting and clearing. Okay, and the other thing that I hadn't mentioned that's on there is incorporating yellow foods into your diet. So with any of these chakras, because they've got certain colors, you can, if you feel there's an imbalance, you can eat foods that have, providing obviously you don't have an intolerance or an allergy to them, but you can actually intake foods that have that color. And as you're looking at the plate of food with the different colors on there, that, believe it or not, can actually help to align your chakra system. It's absolutely astonishing what we see and what we hear and what we feel and what we sense, how all of it makes such a difference to our energy. But we know it does. We know it does. So if we now look at the heart chakra, so that's on the center of the chest. And this is around love, forgiveness, connection, and also compassion. Now, the compassion is actually for ourselves. We are often taught that we have to put our energy and our focus on those outside of ourselves. Otherwise, we're selfish, we're egotistical, we're not nice people. But when we have that love for ourselves, when we have that forgiveness of ourselves and that compassion of ourselves, then our heart center is more balanced. And the heart center is like the middle one of the chakras below and the three above. So to me, it's about that connecting the upper part and the lower part of our body. Now, we can have loads of things that can go on here. We can have difficulties with trusting people through heartbreak, betrayal. We can have difficulty forgiving because somebody has cut us to the core, or something's happened that literally it's just felt so big. And it could feel like, oh, like that. And if we do that often enough, if we get enough shocks where we've taken that sharp intake of breath, but then not giving ourselves time to breathe out the other side, we could have like layers upon layers upon layers of different shocks in our system. And that can affect the diaphragm, which then can affect the heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra. And if one chakra is out of balance, then they can all have to work harder. So these are just things to bear in mind. And this is why I was told that this was an important workshop to do for people. So the other thing you can have is you can feel that you're really disconnected and lonely. And that's even if you're in a crowd of people, even if you're in a large family. The isolation and that feeling of disconnection comes more from us being disconnected with ourselves. But what happens is we constantly look outside of ourselves in order to get verification of who we are, confirmation of, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. So the heart chakra, that's why I say it's about that love, that compassion, that forgiveness. And when I talk about forgiveness, I am not talking about saying what they did was okay. It's not about that. The forgiveness is about us forgiving the situation, the event, because when we don't forgive, we are opening up this energy pathway to that event 24/7. So that means our energy center is open, and anything that's attached to that can come all the way in and cause even more heartache. So the forgiveness is there for us to be able to heal our heart. It is not about the other person. It is about us, because for all we know, they're not even giving it a second thought. So for this one, we are looking at the color green. So again, you could be breathing in. And as you breathe in, just see the beautiful green. Sometimes for me, it's an emerald green going in to that area. Sometimes I have it where it's swirling. Sometimes it's just this beautiful color coming in. And do that again for about a minute. You can be out in nature. One of the things that I used to absolutely love so much with my little dog Shads was walking, just walking in the woods, so connected in. And yeah, I walk now, but it's not the same. And I don't do it for as long. When you've got a dog, you just have to walk, don't you? So there is that side to it. But that's when I then surround myself with green as much. And sometimes, and I remember years ago, I had this client, and it was actually for the root chakra. And I said, oh, you need to really be bringing a bit more red into your life. And he was like, because he was a solicitor and quite high up and everything. And he was like, oh, I don't know about that. I said, look, what about if you got yourself some red underpants? No one has to see them. He did. He did do it because his wife contacted me and she said, I don't know what you've done, but he's like so much happier in himself. And it was because he was starting to get some more of the color. So the thing is, a lot of times we wear a lot of black. That's okay, providing you've got some color underneath. It's about that color getting into the skin as well. So you can have that picture in your mind now, aren't you? But honestly, get different colored underwear. It's you'll be surprised at the difference just that thing can make. So if you're having a day and you're just feeling like really heavy in the heart, pull out your green pants or knickers or a green top. If you're feeling that you don't feel grounded, have some red on. So this is the thing, you can have such a lot of fun with this in a real serious way, but in a way that makes it quite lighthearted too. And the affirmation for this is, I am open to love and deeply connected to others. Now, you might not want the connected to others. So you could have, I am open to love. Why am I open to love? Or why am I able to forgive myself so easily? You know, so these are the different things that you can be doing. And this is part and parcel of everything that I wanted to bring over to you. So again, anywhere and everywhere where you feel maybe there's something that is hard for you to forgive, or there feels like a heaviness or some heartache, we're going to let that go into that big cosmic container. And we're going to be doing a clearing around all of that shortly. And again, just having a sip. And if you are into yoga, because I know a lot of you are, you can do the heart opening yoga pose. I'd like to tell you I know what that is, but I don't. But if you look up on the internet, I am sure that you will find that. I think I've given you at least one tool that you can use, if not two. As we now come up to the throat chakra. So the throat chakra is all about our expression. It's about how we communicate our authenticity. It's about being able to also be heard. And I know for a lot of people that's difficult. And then we've got the complete overactive side of it, which you see quite a lot, where people are shout, 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 argy-bargy, all of that. And it's like they have the imbalance of too much. So that is a point with these chakras. Sometimes we can have too much energy in a certain center going through because the other ones aren't working properly. As soon as you start working on one, I always suggest, like, at least once a week, you give all of the meridians, sorry, not meridians, the chakra system and the auric field a cleanse through. I'm obviously going to have to do something about meridians. Interesting, isn't it, how it all comes through? So you could program the water, have a sort of like a glass of that once a week even. But again, where we have an imbalance, we can have it one side or the other. So you can be frightened to speak, or you can just be like, my view is really important, you're going to hear me. And, you know, everything is about bringing it all into balance. And here we've got the color blue. And what else can be good for this is singing or chanting. Some people don't like chanting. Some people think, oh, I can't sing, I haven't got a very good voice. Sing in the shower. Sing in a place where no one's going to really hear you, if that's how it feels for you. Or you can sort of like find something to chant, and you can do that, or hum. Hum's not very loud, is it? But again, it's things that activate this throat chakra area, because we don't want it where we're just talking at people. We want it where we're actually being able to interact with people, but we want to be able to speak up and feel that what we're saying matters, and it's being heard. But how often when we're in a conversation, does somebody either talk over what the other person is saying, or is waiting to speak to say, oh, that happened to me, before? So we're not really staying silent and listening to what that person has to say. But again, you can visualize that color blue. You could wear a blue scarf, or blue top, anything. It's just, again, about bringing in some color into our lives. And this affirmation is, I speak my truth freely and clearly. Now, this does not mean that you are going to start turning around and you're going to be up on a pedestal and you're just like saying, I'm this and I believe in that. It's not about that. It's about you being more centered, more present, more authentic, speaking your truth. And there are times when it's not okay to speak your truth. I'm told I'm too blunt. And that people in my family, especially, wish I would just calm it down a little bit. When I mentioned it the other day, they said, oh, no, we like the fact that you just say it how it is. But I can see it can be a little bit disconcerting. So if somebody asks me what I think, I have to sit for a moment and think, do they want to hear what I really think or what I think they want me to say? And sometimes I will say that, which do you want? But when I was younger, I was always having sore throats, losing my voice. It's even happened as an adult. But I always make sure now that it isn't because I'm not able to express myself in the way that I need to. And again, that doesn't mean that I have confrontations. I can just sometimes sit and chat to myself. That doesn't sound good. But you get the idea. It's about that expression of self. So next so anywhere where that's being blocked in any way, we're going to put that into that cosmic container. As we now move on to the brow chakra, that third eye. And this is about our intuition, our clarity, our spiritual insight. And as young children, we are so open. We're like sponges. We take everything on. And often when a child will go about their invisible friend and how they just know these things. And then as adults, the adults go, oh, don't be so silly. There's nobody there. And what happens is that bit by bit by bit by bit, we are closing down our third eye. We're closing down our intuition. So then we get to being an adult and we just say, oh, why can't I trust my intuition? It's because we've almost been programmed to not. But by using the different tools for this, we can start to free up that energy so that we can start to know. And it's like a knowing. And you can actually just rub that point just for 30 seconds in a day. I know that's not on there, but that's one of the things as well that you can do to stimulate that chakra. You can place your hand on that and you can then see as you're breathing, go up into breathing into indigo light into that area. You have the affirmation, which is, I trust my inner wisdom and see with clarity. And that's the other thing that's coming in. And we've seen it coming in over this last 6 to 8 months, longer sometimes in some parts. But it's where we're able to see things for what they are, not what we're being told. So not what we're hearing, but we're seeing it, we're kind of knowing it, but we don't have the proof. We don't have that external verification, but that's going to be coming in more and more. And this might sound a little bit more difficult to do, but because a symptom of the imbalance can be overthinking, can be a lack of direction, it can be confusion. It can also be where we have difficulty trusting our intuition. But if you said, when you're trying to work out, is this, whatever it is, right for me at this point in time? and you sit with that and you notice the whole of your chakra system. But I always go like with how it feels here and in my heart. And if both of those parts are what I call singing, so they're vibrating like in harmony, then I know that that decision is a good one. If I get this going on in those areas, I go, not for me. That has taken a lot of practice. But for some of you, you'll probably just be able to do it without even thinking twice. And you probably already do it. But then we kind of doubt ourselves. And then we can go into the overthinking. Should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? What? Oh. And then we end up doing nothing. So anywhere and everywhere where that has been something, I want you to actually let that come forth for a moment. There's something else going on here with this one. Okay. So what we've got here. Okay. So sometimes when I'm working, other information comes in. And I just wasn't expecting it today. But it's linked into ancestors and other lifetimes, whether you believe in them or not. Our energy field has a lot of information, and it has a lot of information from our ancestors and what they have been through and their experiences. And what I've got going, or what's going on energetically in here, is all to do with having used the intuition, trusting oneself, and then something not good happened. They were completely two separate things, but the subconscious back in those lines, and I know this is true because my head is now absolutely buzzing, is the subconscious has put the fact that if you are knowing, if you access your intuition, then something bad will happen. And we really need to clear that. So I'm just going to take a few moments here. So I just want you, just eyes open, closed. It doesn't matter. Mine will be closed because I need to do this for everyone, whether they're live or on the replay. But everywhere and anywhere where the subconscious had linked in intuition, knowing with something terrible occurring. Just going to ask for that all to go into healing for the deepest core level, going back as many generations as is needed. Apologies, I yawn a lot when I do energy work, and I wasn't thinking I was going to be doing that level in here. So if I hadn't cleared that layer, what would happen is as soon as you went to try and do any work to balance that through using the affirmation, you'd get distracted. Your mind would be full with something else because it was almost like it was kind of too dangerous in a sense. But it was just because, so for example, you might be, say, 2 or 3 years old. You go into the room and mum or dad or someone is upset. But as soon as they see you, they stop they stop the upset. And you do something and it makes them laugh. Then what happens is our body can have, well, if someone's upset, I have to make somebody laugh. I have to be responsible for them feeling better. And if that happens a few times in our lives when we're young, then we learn that as a pattern of how it is that we need to be as an adult. But it also shows that we're not able to say, because we can feel something's wrong, but everyone's saying there's nothing wrong. So it's like, again, that doubt of our intuition, of our knowing. So there are the different parts that have been coming up in there. So that is quite a lot that's come through. I'll be doing a little bit more on that in a moment or two. So we're going to go up to the crown chakra. It's always interesting when you're doing things live with people, the energy that comes up, you can't say just wait a while. It's like, I'm there. I need to be addressed. So if we go to the crown chakra, so it's on the top of the skull, and it's our spiritual connection. It's our enlightenment, our divine purpose. And it's interesting about this one because we see that that's our connection to spirit, to our higher self. And we often are looking outside of ourselves for that connection, but the connection is always in us. That connection is always there. It's just sometimes it's like layers, so that the energy can't get through in the way that it needs to. It's almost like it has to go like in a roundabout way to get in. And so we can then think, oh, we're not connected, we're not in alignment, we're not doing our divine purpose. So we look outside of ourselves for how to get connected. Where the truth is, if you focus in on your breath and those 7 major chakras, that brings in the connection. That helps you be in your power. That helps you see, okay, what is it that I can do myself? And what is it that I maybe do need a bit of help with? I personally, I have 2 sessions every single month with 2 completely different people that do completely different things to me, so that I can keep myself well and in balance, so that I can help others. You know, when you suddenly, win a medal at something, you don't stop training, you don't stop having coaches, you don't stop working on yourself. And it's the same in this work. So with the crown chakra, you can feel disconnected, you can feel lost. You feel sometimes that you don't know what your purpose is in life. And for me, it's interesting, this one. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks. So for me, purpose in life is about living your life. We always think it has to have a purpose, but we've got a physical body. And surely the purpose to actually live our life, what could be bigger than that? Yes, I absolutely love what I do. I love helping people. But my real purpose is being a human. That really is that purpose. And then from that strength, I can help people because I've got that strength that's within there. And that again helps that balance. So again, it's about not looking outside of ourselves for that connection, for that feeling of being centered. It's about realizing it is there. It's just got a bit cloudy, through the old emotions that we might have, the old events that have happened in life, what might have happened to our ancestors, what's going on in the environment. So to me, they're like little bits that just muddy and cloud how we're feeling about ourselves. So you can, with this one, you can actually visualize golden white light in the crown chakra, or purple. Some people do gold. There isn't a right or a wrong color. You will see this one as so many different things for different people, and it will depend on what feels right for you. But I tend to, when I'm doing it, I do like a purple or like a white gold. And I just breathe that in to that chakra area. And straight away, as soon as I do that, I almost feel like this whole, I can't, it's a bit like that Netflix sound. And it's just like right into the center. Again, you won't be able to get that one out of your mind, will you? But sometimes, you know what, having a little thing like that be just what is needed in order for you to feel, yeah, got it. Okay, so what we're going to do, just your bodies are all going like, oh, want this, I want this. So we're going to do is we're just going to do a little exercise where we are going to visualize. So I'm going to lead this through for you. And I have actually yesterday had all this divine inspiration. and made a meditation MP3 for you all as a free gift, which is 10 minutes long. You can use it daily, or you can listen to it once a week. It's entirely up to you. But it's basically where I'm bringing the chakra system into balance and harmony. But you're listening to it and your system is then doing the work. And the more frequently you can do it, like if you did it every day, what happens is that within 2 to 3 weeks, your whole system will just, you'll feel more resilient, you'll feel more stronger. So I have done that for you. And it will be coming out by email at some point today. So just close your eyes. And I just want you to, we're not going to necessarily use the colors individually, but I just want you to, as you're breathing in, I want you to see this beautiful, beautiful column of golden white light coming down through the crown of your head, right down the core of your system. And as you're breathing it in, with every in-breath, that column gets more and more vibrant. And then with your next set of in-breaths, we are going to let that golden white light, that column, expand further and further, so that it encompasses the whole of your physical body, from your heads down to your fingers, down to your toes. So the whole, so it's going through every single cell, cleansing and clearing anything that has come up whilst you have been watching, listening to this recording. And then with the next set of in-breaths, we're going to let that color expand even further out. So it goes about 10 feet above, below, and around you, like a big, beautiful egg of white golden light. And as that light goes out, it starts to clear all different layers of your auric field, that energy field that's all around you, cleansing and clearing anything that's come up today. And then anything that it cleanses goes into that big cosmic container in order to be cleared at the deepest core level. Good, good. Just notice how your body feels. And you can come back and you can use that little clearing as often as you wish, or the MP3 that you will have access to. As I say, it's 10 minutes long, so you can do it when you're walking, do it when you're going to sleep. It's entirely up to you. And I sent it to the people that had already signed up for the chakra clearing program as a little gift yesterday, and somebody had already listened to it and they just are like wowing about it. So I'm just like, yeah, I felt that, but I wasn't sure if that was just me. So it was really good to hear. But I wanted to do it because I know this year there's going to be lots of shifts and changes going on for everybody. And it's so good to have something that you feel can support you. and bring things more into balance, because when the chakras are more in balance, then we do feel more clarity, we do feel more resilience, and we do have that more of a sense of abundance that comes in. Okay, so I'm just aware because I said that I would try and finish on time. So this is just one aspect of the chakra clearing program that I've been talking about. But within there, what I'm also finding, and the people that I've worked with, is that each of the chakras can hold ancestral patterns, things that have happened in the ancestral line that has been a shock or a trauma, and it just keeps getting passed down energetically. And the thing is, it's energetically out here in our field. And we'll know when we go somewhere, don't we? When you go somewhere and you go to be in a room and you go, oh, I really don't like it in here. Or, oh my gosh, this feels so lovely. I feel at home. And it's because our energy field is picking up all that information. But they are like storage. They're like CD-ROMs. Oh gosh, that shows my age. But they're like computers, and they've got like a hard drive that's got like lots of information, and the body can keep referring back to them. So in the chakra clearing program, what we're doing is working more in depth, clearing the individual chakras and the auric field. And then there is from there an app on Kajabi where you can access the different water programs for each of the individual chakras. Now, people go, oh, can I put the heart chakra and the sacral chakra in the same glass? You can't, because the way that Peter Schenk has actually done the Aquaware program is that it cleanses the energy. So the only ones, there's two in there that you can use to align the chakras, but you've got access to one of them. We did it at the very big, well, near the beginning. And there's also an MP3, which is longer, which you use once a month, which cleanses the chakras, because nothing is ever just we don't have one shower and that's it for our life. So what I wanted to do, though, was to make that program so that you didn't have to keep having sessions around clearing the chakras, because it can be quite annoying, can't it? Let's face it, we all can feel like that at times. But by using these tools that I've given you here, if you come into that program using the water program, using the more in-depth MP3, all of that can make a difference. So anyone that is interested, there will be an email coming out later. Or if you're watching this afterwards, then there will be a link below. But anyone that does have a question, if you wanted to ask it, we have about a minute. I'm very happy to answer that, and I can stop the video here. But if no one does have any questions, all I wanted to say is I so appreciate you, really appreciate you taking this time out to hear this. And I hope that you have gained some information, some things that can help you, that will empower you, that will make you feel, you know what, I've got this. Yeah, I think I know how to do that. And then if you need help, you know where I am. So I'm just going to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart, because no questions have coming through. And thank you for thanking me. And I will see you another time. Okay, bye.